All right, so let's jump back into it. E-commerce page. So the thing about e-commerce pages, like I said, is you kind of have that top section, and then you're going to have a lot of the similar information. You can stand to have a lot of similar information. All right. Now, as for what to include, well, I sort of built one before, where yes, this reads very much like a sales page when you're going through and you see all that you've got, these 4 pop-outs, you got a VSL, you've got the zigzag story intro. Now we're getting less into that. We're getting into kind of product demos, feature demonstrations. This is clearly an e-commerce page style thing. And then we have 4 more features and the FAQ. So that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start stealing some of these elements. And I have the cloned DR non-DR page here. And the reason why that is relevant, if I can stop hitting my microphone, the reason why that is relevant is because it has less product information. So I'm just going to go ahead and steal that real quick. I'm going to drop that down here if I can. Now, why am I doing that? Well, the FAQ is a great place to objection bust, but it also feels like just like, hey, I'm helping you out. I'm just giving you some information. I hope it's helpful, right? The 4 final points are a great way to have 4 final selling points that you address right before the FAQ, right? So it's a great way to sell twice there at the very end. And then this bit here is going to go to the very tippy top, right? So I've got to move this section down. Well, I've got to do that faster. So we're going to bump that down, realign it up, and I'll deal with that issue in a minute. First things first, we have to get our e-commerce style thing up there. Okay. One other thing is that the e-commerce page is often going to have navigation up top, but for now, let's act as if that doesn't exist. Because that doesn't matter at all. It's just kind of standing. That'll be good enough. I'm not going to worry about the formatting too much or the copy. But there you go. Now you can see. All right. So this isn't going to say any of this, but this is going to have this general structure here. Now, what does this need to say? Well, this needs to touch on some of the points we've already been talking about with style sphere. So for now, we're going to put style sphere up here. And I wish my microphone would get out of the way so that I can type here. Style sphere. Maybe I'll even say meet style sphere. Now, what do I want to say about that? Designed for discretion, built for battle? No, probably not. All right, so it's the world's first AI-powered personal styling app, but I can also say level up your life. Here we go. Level up your life with the world's first. All right, what's my medium italic? I'm gonna make all of that medium italic. Oh, there's a lot of options in here. There we go. All right, not bad. Meet Style Sphere, level up your life with the world's first AI-powered personal styling app. Okay, so we have a lot we're trying to fit in here. We're going to see what we can do with what we have. I wish that would just reformat it. Yeah. So all you have to do is, I'm just going to say when you upload, save some words there. When you upload, or I'm going to say just upload pictures of yourself. Answer a few questions. And style sphere gives you a personalized recommendation. That could be a little bit better, but we'll focus on making that more powerful in just a second. Okay. I think the key features are going to be harder here. There's not as obvious of a key feature in information products in the same way. There we go. That's pretty good. Just upload pictures of yourself, answer a few questions, and StyleSphere gives you a personalized recommendation. And once it makes a recommendation, it's still up to you to pick something you like to create. Your personal style. The difference is that StyleSphere can save you thousands of dollars and save you hundreds of hours of browsing and buying. Just tell StyleSphere your budget, and it will automatically send you links for you to check out the perfect piece at the perfect price. All right, yeah, it's not bad. I would just like that real quick, if you don't mind. Now, it is a little irregular to use an e-commerce page it's a little irregular to use an e-commerce page for an app, admittedly, but it can be done, right? There's no functional reason why this cannot absolutely, under any circumstances, work. It's just kind of a tradition that we don't. Man, I've had a lot of colors on this. Guess I want whatever color that is. Which is probably not dark enough, so I may need to fix that. Okay, there's no sizes, there's no quantity, there's no colors. You're just buying the dang thing. So it's gonna say, buy now. Now, why buy now? Because that's kind of weak from a copywriting perspective. Well, it is good enough, right? It is also what people expect to see there. You don't go to Amazon expected to say, discover my personal style. So here you're actually bending to tradition, because presumably if you have something like this, you've probably just watched a whole video from Alpha, from Aaron, talking about why you should pick StyleSphere, right? And the good parts of it. So you come in here and you're just buying it. It's going to send you a link in an email with a code, and you can buy it from the App Store or the Google Play Store, right? That's probably how that would check out functionally. I think the spacing on that's a little weird. All right, so I've more or less dissolved this whole section. Right, got rid of all that. I think that's a killer thing to show immediately on this sort of a page. All right. Now we're really just showing off the product immediately. I forgot that I had this guy. I think what I want to do is I want to steal directly from, okay. I want to steal directly from the GoRuck page we saw today, because the thing that I really like is that. Ding. Because I'm not going to be able to write to it because I'm not technical enough. We've talked about this problem in the past where technical copywriting is its own whole thing. And I'm not going to try to write technical stuff about an AI product. But from a design perspective, you know, what we're going to do here is we're going to drop in a little navigation there for people to look through some of the information that they may not have gotten anyways. Boom. I should probably just create that. Hold up. Maybe I'm going to do like how style sphere works. And we'll have kind of like a features slash maybe even like a video demo in there, which would be a little irregular, but you know, they could link to it and it would open up on YouTube or something. Give me a line. Shippings and return, I think is a good one. Our 30-day money back guarantee, and we can do better than that with a guarantee name. We're not going to have shipping and returns because of that. So for now, those are going to be our two things. A 30-day money back guarantee. Our 30-day money back guarantee. I want like the fit, the life change. Our 30-day alpha guarantee. I spell guarantee wrong because it's supposed to be G-U-A. Guarantee. There we go. All right, not bad. Now, yeah, we can do that. Sure. Some of those stats are going to come down here to the very, very bottom for me to use possibly to kind of wrap into that section. I'm going to hit it with the obvious product information here. It can go directly underneath. All right, and you are getting crazy. All right, so I think those are bonuses, but what we want to do next is we want to like highlight some product features, which I talked about at the bottom there. The stats are probably, they belong somewhere possibly. I think up there is reasonable. We're going to try and put as much above that fold. A lot in this section is trying to do some work, right? And I really don't know why I'm doing that because I have the copy up there. Say, well-dressed employees are promoted more often than earlier. Boost confidence, making them feel more successful, intelligent, and attractive. I'd say that's actually less important than women thinking that. And better relationship material, and where it's from is not that important. So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna focus on the two big stats here that I think are important. Y'all have got to go. You need to go. I think you see where we're going with this. Drop that down just a little bit. All right. Hey, look, yet another advantage of the columns. So I can do 3 and 3. Okay, we'll back that off so that there's a little bit of kind of natural spacing there. All right, now the issue is that I want this button to be in a good spot. That's not awful. It has pushed the FAQ section down a little bit, but it does work. But I do think that these 4 lines, because I have like this how style sphere works, I think I may even want that information to be put in there, right? I think that this could now be a completely unnecessary section, right? I want to talk about the benefits of dressing well at this point. So let me look at my original. Whoa. Let me look at my original top section. Okay, much better. Let's tell a story. So that information, just to include, it is important, but now it's going into the drop down of how style sphere works. I guess I have 2 of those there. If I move it now, okay. All right, but I want to go to like, I've been helping guys like you since 2008. I want that copy. Okay, because of this, I think that this is just not going to work as well with that picture, right? We have some star power here, and so we want to use our star power at a better time. So we're going to put that picture down there. Okay, so we're going to drop that there. There we go, good enough. But this bottom picture now needs to become the main picture. Fair enough. Stitch that orange the best we can. All right, let me go back to the orange, because I think I can make it work, but I think what I need to do, give me the orange back. I think I just want to make it smaller so it all kind of fits within the confines of that black background or dark gray background. All right, there we go. Maybe a little bit smaller. But you see what I'm going for here. There we go. So now we've got his face, because that allows me to say, from fitness to fashion, I've been helping guys like you level up since 2008. Do I want to tell that story there, though, is the question. I think I need to get around to talking about style sphere faster. I like his quote on there. I want that. I want you to always wear an outfit that... But fashion is supposed to be personal. And I want you to always wear an outfit that makes you feel like you're crushing it, which is why we made Style Sphere, to give you a truly personalized, a personal stylist, an AI personal stylist with that human touch. Now, here's a time where I have an example of what I'd like to do, and I'm not sure if it's possible. Now, theoretically, what I would like to do is I would like to give them a buy now button and a see more button in the event that they haven't quite gotten to really get into it yet. But if this is actually a Shopify page, that's going to depend on the limits of the Shopify page. And I'm not sure if they allow that or not. But if they do, and let's go ahead and assume that they do. Now I can give them that, right? So now I've got like a big call to action and a soft thing. Very uncommon for direct response, very uncommon for an e-commerce page, but because I think it is so important they get some more information, maybe they can go down and actually scroll through and see stuff. I am not above taking best practices from other platforms, and since I'm selling software here, and software is always, would you mind? I must have 2 of those. That must be what's happening to me. No. Can I just access those lines, please? Because that's something you see software companies do all the time. It's clearly important for people to be able to actually access that sort of information. So I'm not going to contradict that at all. What I am going to do, however, is try and make that a little bit more balanced. So I'm going to make those images a little bit larger so that they just take up a little bit more vertical space here. And I'm going to do that so that that doesn't kind of stick out quite as much, right? Now we're going into meeting your AI stylist, the bonuses you're going to get. We skip all of our stats, go to testimonials. All right, here we are. People are loving StyleSphere, become the alpha, except the only thing that I want to include here, same things here. We're going to hit it with, you know what? All right, also by doing this, we're going to give ourselves just a little bit more breathing room. That definitely needs to come down. That really only works in that one space. You're really going to make me do this just to access that? Thank you. I'd love to pull it over to about there. Bring down that radiant effect there a little bit. Feeling decent about that. I think I'm going to have to make that a little bit smaller, unfortunately, to make it all fit in the space, but we're looking good now. We're looking good. All right. I could probably workshop that a little bit better to work better, but then I wish can I, within here, affect this and make it white? Or just spam exposure. All right, I'm back. All right, so here's how we're gonna do this thing. I'm just gonna bump that up to there. Okay, that's not appearing yet because that is, oh, it's just off by that? Really? Oh man, I didn't know that had a background. Hold up. Okay, so I need to, I've done this before with their edit. I just need to, where's your thing? Don't you have a thing when I do this? That, yeah. Because you're GPTing it. Photoshop should have been done 2 seconds ago. Okay, whatever. Bump that up. Now it's on top. Just going to do a little like talking about who we are, right? We bump that up. That, once it's done, will go look better. Did it remove the background? Okay, yeah. I literally thought that was like a built-in functionality that this had. Check out my exposure. Yeah, we got there. We got there. Cool. What's the most kind of natural place to put that in there? So, I'm guessing there's yet another rectangle. Where's the best place to put this badge? Okay, so the issue we're having is that those two, this and this, are competing in the same way. They're, everything's just about, like, visually, they're all about the same. So here's what we're going to do. Bump that up for half a second. Pull you down. Or, whatever size you feel is appropriate there. I feel like that looks just a little bulky. I like it full width. Okay, final thing. I want that to be a little bit higher. Okay. Now it's just a question of ordering, because the question is if I want to put this call to action at the very, very bottom, and I probably do. Okay, so I want that to go up to there. And then I want my little pop outs here to do some selling. So I'm going to need to give it room for a title. And then I'm going to need it to close underneath. I do kind of like that as a call out. First 100 subscribers get 80% off Style Sphere. And what do I get? Because that's a good motivational factor, right? And what features are we going to get with that? I do not know. There's going to need to be like, in fact, I'm just going to make these stand-in pictures because I think the backpacks are probably a little distracting, if I were guessing. Really, you're going to make me fill each one of these? Okay. Not bad. Do the same thing up here with those random things. All right, so what are 4 features we want to highlight? We want to say, get dressed for less. And for now, I'm just going to make the supporting text lorem ipsum. Truly personal style. One level above. All right, so here's how you use these to make it a difference in how things are working. Style Sphere isn't going to make you wear a tux to barbecue. Your goal will be to look like yourself, but one level better. And close that. That could be a little bit better, but we've written so much body copy. I think you get it. I would come back, I would edit that. But the point here, after writing my 7th landing page here, just one level better. Do I need that? No. Style sphere won't dress you like me. Or like, who are some of the stories we talked about before? Okay, so let's go ahead and imagine that like in a VSL somewhere on this page, I'm going to talk about Dwayne Johnson and Steve Jobs, which means I now have permission to come down here, right? Style sphere styles you like the best version of you. Oh my God. Sends you suggestions so you can be the best version of you, right? Get dressed for less. I'm not even going to go into that. You know how we do that. Okay, your goal, no. We help you look like yourself, but one level better. And then benefit number 3, whatever the heck it is driving me crazy, guys. Just one level better, get dressed for less, truly personal style, just one level better, and dozens of outfit suggestions in minutes. Nah, not suggestions. Dozens of outfits in minutes. And I'm not going to expand on that. That's good enough. Cool. So you see what I'd outlined there. Then we drop into the FAQ and the call to action down there. So, reasonably, it's pretty similar to the other page. We have very similar features between all of them. It's just putting them in a slightly different order. You see what we're doing. You see how we're organizing things, how we're making decisions. Now we need to go to the quiz funnel. Okay, we have 3 more. Let me go ahead and knock out the squeeze page. That'll be a good use of my time. So let's imagine what he's offering here. Let's just say it's a pre-launch for his thing. And you're going to sign up to learn when the app is coming, right? Let's level up your life. I don't understand what UI changed in the last 2 seconds. I'm sure y'all saw it while it was happening, but I have no idea what happened. So we have this email capture. That's the main goal here. I'm going to get rid of that guy. I think. Add in our little social proof here. That's going to have to get smaller. And then what I want here on my rectangle, I'm going to block that guy out real quick. And what I want to do is hint that something is coming. Can I hold up? I gotta clone that. I need to crop it pretty substantially. I've got a different solution that works better because I'm going to blur it. Okay, there we go. And my final thing that I need to do is drop the fill on that a little bit. Can I? In a couple of weeks, I'm going to drop something incredible. Something that I've been working on for years. Something that will help you find the perfect piece for your wardrobe at the perfect price. And apparently I can't spell wardrobe incredible. That's it. That's all I want to do, basically. Maybe I could play with the design a little bit. The spacing's, there's just a lot going on here. And so I could find new ways to emphasize it. But again, this is a copywriting course. So you see, basically, I'm going to just capture people's emails. I'm going to tag them as being interested in whatever's coming in a couple of weeks. And then in a couple of weeks, I'll drop them into something like this. Like, hey, here's what's coming. Or maybe I'll consider them warm and I'll send them directly to an e-commerce page. So there's that. Now we have two more that we're going to have to do. They're going to take a little bit with the quiz funnel and the advertorial. So let's not think about the advertorial yet, though I do think it's worth saying that this bridge page is probably going to be the general backbone of the advertorial. It's already talking about like research and stuff like that. So that's going to be how we're going to have to write that. And I'm going to have to write that on a totally separate Google Doc. It's not going to be reworking stuff on the page. It is a radically different angle, which is why I considered not writing it. But you know what? We didn't find any good advertorials, so here we are. All right. Oh, we had one. We had one good advertorial. But even then, it needed some help. So with the quiz funnel, let's just talk through like what questions we'd want to ask, right? Because again, this is going to look way, way different. So the main thing is you can either do warm-up questions or qualifying questions. So a qualifying question is like, do I even want to sell this to you? Or like, have you bought a shirt before? No? Well, you're probably not going to buy an app helping you buy shirts if you've never bought a shirt before. Irrelevant for this product, probably, but not necessarily for other ones. You know, if you're like, this is a coaching program and I want to qualify you, you're like, have you ever done this thing before? Or have you developed certain skills? You know, let's say it's an ad buying course and you're like, I don't know, do you spend $100,000 a month in budget? No, then this isn't the place for you. Go learn from a pre-recorded course, and we're not going to do one-on-one coaching for this, right? That's an example of a qualifying question. And another qualifying question might just be that you're going to put people into different segments. It's not about saying yes or no. It's about saying, how do I want to pitch these people? So with the example of eShred, it's endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph. You know, are you a hard gainer? Do you struggle to lose weight? Or are you somewhere in between? So the other things are warm-up questions. So that would be like, why do you want to dress well? For example, with Aaron. So I might add that. Why do you want to dress well? And what you're doing is you're just getting them to say, you know, this sort of thing is important to me. And therefore, when I get the pitch in a minute, I'm going to want to buy. So why do you want to dress well? What is your monthly wardrobe budget? How would you describe your style? I feel like getting somewhere between 5 and 10 questions is ideal. What has been keeping you from taking your style more seriously? See, what are more selling points here? Now, another kind of warm-up question could be like, how much are you making per year? And how much do you want to be making per year? But I would caution against that. Why? Because the how much are you making per year right now is really personal information, and people may not want to share that. Now, the aspirational how much do you want to be making per year It could feel good or it could feel bad. You could be like, oh, hey, this is aspirational. Or you could be like, hey, this is going to be super cheesy. I don't love that question. So I'm going to leave both of those out. That's just an example of something you could do. Why do you want to dress well? What is your monthly wardrobe budget? How would you describe your style? So I'm going to, do you prefer X, Y, or Z? Do your, what is your shirt size? What is your pants size? Do clothes normally fit you? Are your clothes normally baggy or tight on you? What fit do you prefer? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I like that. That's a good amount of questions. Now, let's start with, I want to have 2 warm-up questions at the end and get into kind of the meat and potatoes really early. Wardrobe. All right. So those are going to be my questions. And I'm going to assume most of this is going to happen on a phone. Delete that. I don't know how or why it ended up that way, but that is the way it be. There's really like so much stuff that I don't need here. Basically the only thing that I'm trying to keep is that top section. And I deleted my button, which is one of the ones that I didn't mean to delete, but here we are. All right, I was thinking about doing like a previous question and a next question, but let's just keep them moving forward, right? Okay, and I want all of these to be roughly phone height. Phone height, probably more in that range. Now, can I turn on my guides? Yes. I want my button to be full width. The Alpha M style quiz. All right, we're gonna drop that to like, I don't know, 24 maybe? 36? $32? Question number 1. Why do you want to dress well? Okay, I don't know where we went wrong. And I don't know how much I need to mock this up, but I just want to give you like kind of an example. Oh, this is painful. Yep. Okay, because this is going to be with the power of AI. I think we should be able to just kind of like open end that question, right? So I'm going to have something with that quality because I like the drop shadow on it. I do not understand what's happening with this today. I do not want the stroke, but I do want the fill. What is happening? Why did you change the entire UI while I was using this? I do not understand this for a second. Okay. Give me that drop shadow. Okay, cool. I think that stroke is a little heavy. Okay, good enough. All right, so that would be one example. But you'll additionally have like other versions of this. I think that gradient is too strong up top. So I'm gonna drop that to like 50% maybe. Yeah. Okay, and the reason I just wanted to include one more in there, so do you prefer X, Y, or Z? Let's say that. Which style do you like best? And that's probably number 3, if it'll even let me change that. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to have, and again, I'm not copywriting here, so I'm just showing you some design stuff that realistically you probably don't even need to see. But you came here for the full package. I hope you're getting a ton of value out of this. Don't know why those aren't level, but they aren't. There we go. All right. So you see, you're just gonna select an answer there and move to the next step. So there's gonna be different ways that you lay out each question. Something like Typeform is a great tool that you can use to ask questions. I think MailChimp has a pretty good questionnaire thing. I don't know how much formatting stuff you can do to the MailChimp one. I use Typeform for this sort of thing. So anyways, those are some of the questions that you're gonna go through. And then at the end, I'd be very likely to send someone to either a sales letter that felt a little bit more tailored to the questions they just answered, or to the VSL page, which is going to be very similar, but you can lean pretty heavily on that video. So yeah, that's the quiz fun. And next, I'm going to have to go away and I'm going to have to write the advertorial in a minute, but I hope you got a lot of value out of that. And I'll see you in a bit to go through what it's like the 5th full landing page we've done on this. But hope you're getting the value. Thanks, y'all. Well, I guess you're going to have to... Wow, that sucks. That sucks so bad. All right, so damn it. I've been writing here. You can see me writing, but you can't see what I'm actually writing. So I hate when this happens. This is not the first time this has happened. So sorry. So I'm going to give an update, and then I'm just going to have to read through what I've written so far. So here's the advertorial. When you kind of look at this at first glance, you might think, all right, basically what I need to hit on is the same angle we had in our bridge page, right? Which is, do looks matter? How much can they impact your earning potential? Here's the stats that we need to hit on. And it's like new Wall Street Journal data, right? But imagine the actual article that was referencing, right? What would we talk about? We'd probably want to hit on some of those stats of like this many employers say this, men feel that dressing well boosts confidence, makes them feel more successful, intelligent, and attractive. Women, 69% of women perceive well-dressed men to be sexier, smarter, and more successful, more popular. Cool. We might want to hit on that, but that misses out what we do on the 12-gauge landing page, which is grabbing attention, identifying a problem, providing the solution, credentials and backstory, paint the picture, introduce your product, showing the big benefits, and there's a lot of extra stuff in there. Eliminating objection, making Godfather offer, revealing your future self. Now, some of this stuff, offer stack bonuses, Godfather offer, objection handling, revealing their future self, all that kind of stuff will likely be done on a sales page, which is going to happen after an advertorial. An advertorial is very much like the front half of this. So you're getting them warm, kind of introducing the product and the problem and showing the big benefits that this has. So, how are we going to write this in a way that does that? And here's what I came up with. It's a really rough outline, but I think you can see what the direction I'm going for. So first, we're going to grab attention and introduce the big idea. Is the American dream dead? Men want to be 6 foot, 6-figure man with 6 kids. White picket fence. Is that still possible in 2025? We're going to paint the picture. You used to be able to purchase a house from 1 year's salary as an unskilled worker. You could buy 1 to 2 cars, have 3 to 6 kids, vacation once a year at a nearby coast or lakeside cabin. They ate non-GMO organic foods. They had higher testosterone and they naturally got an exercise in their daily jobs. Now we're over-credentialed and underemployed. House prices are 4 to 7 times the average annual salary, and we have more single 20-somethings than ever, with 30% of them having given up entirely on the dating market, while the other 70% trade one-night stands with strangers over quality relationships. I don't know where I'm going to put that in. Identify the problem. generally guys behave like a boy, boy/child, not being taken seriously. The world is too casual. People don't try hard enough. People don't take themselves seriously or their clothes seriously. Problems, they're being ignored. They're not feeling good enough. They're feeling anxious. They're feeling passed over. And we're going to use some interviews from college guys to do that. We're going to go on like a college campus. Let's say we went to the local state school to interview guys on campus. Then we're going to say, and that's just the guys in college. The guys on the work site generally have better paychecks, but are still struggling to be taken seriously in the dating market, and few are moving into positions of ownership, continuing to never reaching true financial independence and earning potential. Problems: missed workouts, either women turning them down or not asking women out, dating around but not getting serious, lack of training and ability, AI causing issues with people who should be developing real skills, problem solving abilities. Boomers are leaving the workforce. No serious professionals ready to take their spots. Problem: the dating market. More women are graduating college. I need to tie those together. And what's worse than not collecting a large paycheck, these young men, due to their poor career trajectory, are facing pushback in the dating market. Okay? So women are graduating college, succeeding in their early careers, and because of that, women are not finding suitable mates. Providing the solution. Who's working on this? So what we want to do here is we want to position Aaron and Alpha M as the solution, but we still want this to feel like an article. So we want to talk about multiple people who are trying to solve it, but we want to kind of undermine the other options. So we're going to say, some tailors are trying to work on this. Thrifting's gotten more popular. Some tailors working on this. Thrifting has gotten more popular. So some tailors are trying to reach out to appeal to thrifters, get them to tailor clothes, look good for less, but there are only so many good finds on the shelves, and most modern stuff is constructed poorly if it is affordable. Option number 2, Red Pill community helps at least professionally, teaching men to go their own way. Go their own way. Give up on the American dream. Crush it in business, but leave romance, family, home ownership out of it. But let's be real, most men get out of bed in the morning because of romance. This is false motivation. And so their plan falls flat. One YouTuber is trying to make a difference. I am Alpha M, Aaron Marino. Balanced perspective on romance, millions of subscribers, billions of views since 2008, but fashion is supposed to be personal and YouTube isn't that. There might be hope. Some believe that AI could be the answer. Companies like Stitch Fix use style quizzes to make in their heyday, companies like Stitch Fix use style quizzes to make lots of money and unload their unsold stock, not necessarily help customers dress better, which was their value proposition. They require lots of personal stylists to be hired in order to make the algorithm. But what if that vision could be born again, this time better? Aaron took us behind the scenes with what he's been doing in Silicon Valley's TED Turner to show us how he distilled his decades of wisdom into an AI app. We've scanned thousands of hours of my best videos, tips, and outfits I've created over the years and used it to build an AI version of me. AI criticism often says AI critics often say AI is boring and uninspired. Aaron admits this is true, which is why they programmed in a heavy human element. Quote, the style is supposed to be personal. So when a guy sees an outfit recommendation, he picks and chooses what he wants, and the bot learns. Really, the bot is just there to match colors and search the web for the best price point and make their is there just there to get the user thinking. Then the user shares their style, and the bot just searches the web to match colors, search the web for the best price point, and make and build outfits for the user. After the AI makes a recommendation, yeah, I just said that. And compared to past solutions, the app is designed to instantly connect you with e-commerce stores in your price range after building you the perfect outfit, and claims it can save you thousands of dollars and save you hundreds of hours browsing and buying. His mission, Aaron's mission, isn't to make you dress like someone you're not, but to be one level better than you were yesterday. I want to help guys wear an outfit that makes them feel like they're crushing it. When you dress well, you take yourself more seriously, and so do investors, bosses, and the spicy senoritas. Newspaper response: If the app can deliver on its promises, this could certainly be one of the first solutions to Gen Z and millennials with some hope, especially given AI enthusiasm. Guys like Steve Jobs and Dwayne Johnson built entire careers on how they dress. They've risen from mediocrity to stardom, largely based off their personal brand that begins with how they look in the mirror. They cultivate an image of authority and trust while building their self-image of confidence. I built this app to help all guys do the same. So what do people have to say about the app? One beta user says that he was able to spend less than $300 to completely redo his wardrobe and was promoted at work within 6 months and has connected with an old flame. But not all users are quite so optimistic. I'll believe it when I see it again. What we're doing is we're trying to make this feel like a real article, even here at the end. But instead of having one person say like, oh, I believe in this, and another person believes in it, another person believes in it, which feels fake, we're going to have someone who disagrees, but we're going to pull back on the disagreement. How do we have them disagree without disagreeing? So this is someone who's just doubtful about it. They'll believe it when they see it. So you could feel the same. You might want to click through and see what they're talking about, right? So what do people have to say about the app? A little further down, I'll believe it when I see it. I've never been impressed with AI, and I don't want to dress like some suit. I want to be me, you know? Aaron is hoping to address these concerns before the app launches this fall. If you're interested in seeing how it works or getting on the list to be a beta tester, you can learn more at stylesphere.com. As for the fate of the American dream, thanks to people like Aaron, there's still a glimmer of hope amongst a sea of angst and pessimism. It may have been easier for Grandpa, but for those that pull themselves up by their bootstraps, the American dream may still be in reach. Okay. All right, what I'm going to do, I don't recommend doing this all the time, but, you know, ChatGPT. Imagine you are a newspaper reporter writing an article about the state of manhood in the United States. Talk about the American dream and how it used to be more attainable. Make up stats that back up ownership trends, marriage trends, etc. Tone: authoritative, unbiased. However, the ultimate point is to highlight an app that can solve the problems while appearing unbiased and professional. Okay. See what it comes up with. Again, normally I would write this myself. You've written stuff with me before. So the main thing I wanted to do here was an outline so that we could start kind of laying this out in a better format from a design perspective. So I think it's pretty good. Let's read through it. And I'll probably choose some of my lines and some of theirs. The way that I'll often use AI when I'm doing this is I write an outline myself, or I just kind of slap some ideas down in paper and then I look at the lines it comes up with. Sometimes it's really good. In direct response, I think it would do pretty poorly, but it knows what an article looks like. And newspaper presenting often seems a little cold, and so I'm like, this is maybe not the worst for AI to do this, but we'll see if I like some of my lines better. All right, so let's go ahead and do this here. Google Docs. We're going to take a lot of that and just kind of compare them side by side to see what I like better. Yeah, give me the GQ style think piece. This is definitely feeling a little bit less like the article I had in mind. It could work, you could test both, but I want it to really just feel like an article you'd have in the Wall Street Journal. So I'm gonna stick with the original here. Okay, now I'm going to compare this side by side with the one that I wrote. And see what we come up with here. Okay, gotta go bold, italic. That's gotta go up in size. Hit me with it. By a staff reporter. Already looking pretty good as far as things go. I just want to make sure we have the now we're over credentialed and underemployed. Houses are 4 to 7 times the thing. According to a fictionalized survey, let's not do that. According to a survey from the National Family Institute, only 39% of men 25 to 34 own a home compared to 62 in 1985. Marriage rates among men under 30 have fallen by nearly half in the same period. Work, too, has changed despite a record number of college graduates. Nearly 45% of men aged 22 to 29 report being underemployed, working jobs that do not require their degrees. Among those with higher education, wage growth has stagnated. The average hourly pay for non-college men has only grown 2% in real terms since 2000. I don't even know if that's true, but that sounds good. I highly doubt that's true. And the dating market reflects these economic pressures. A study conducted at Midwestern State University revealed that 3 to 10 male undergraduates had given up entirely on dating, citing financial insecurity, anxiety, and feeling overlooked. If you're not already impressive on paper, women don't take you seriously. One 21-year-old told us. Loving this. Hopefully we get some mention of women here. The problem beneath the problems. The struggles extend beyond dollars and cents. Cultural observers note a broader sense that men are not being taken seriously, whether in their careers, their relationships, or even how they present themselves. Casual dress, once a weekend luxury, has become the norm across many workplaces. It's hard to project authority in sweatpants, as one workplace consultant. According to a recent According to a recent American workforce poll, 54% of hiring managers admit that personal appearance plays a strong role in promotions. Add to this generation distracted by technology, skipping workouts. That's not what I want. Because that was supposed to be a point of like how their psychology is affected, right? So add to this distracted by technology, leaning on AI instead of developing hard skills and real leadership qualities, and the gap widens. With baby boomers retiring at record rates, there is concern that too few young men are prepared to step into professional leadership roles. Searching for solutions. So who is tackling the problem? Tailors and thrifters are reviving interest in fitted, affordable clothing, but supply is limited and quality inconsistent. Online communities offer alternatives ranging from red pill ideologies that encourage abandoning traditional goals altogether to fitness influencers urging men to focus on self-improvement. Yet these solutions rarely address the full picture, how a man looks, feels, and carries himself in a world where appearance still opens doors. One surprising attempt at a solution is coming from a familiar figure, Aaron Marino, known online as Alpha M, who has built a YouTube empire on men's style, fitness, and confidence advice. Now in partnership with Silicon Valley technologist, what did I even say? Like Ted Turner. Did I say Ted Turner? Now, don't do that. Ted Turner. Give me Turner. Ted Turner. With Silicon Valley technologist Ted Turner, he has distilled decades of content in decades of wisdom into a new AI-powered app. A high-tech stake on self-presentation. No, I don't like that. A high-tech take on self-expression style. Okay. The app called StyleSphere scans user preferences and builds personalized outfits, connecting men directly to e-commerce stores in their budget range. Style is supposed to be personal, Marino told us. AI on its own can be bland. That's why we trained it with thousands of my best looks and tips, but kept the human element intact. The app doesn't tell you what to wear. It just gets you thinking and then finds affordable options for you. Early users report positive outcome. One beta user told us he's rebuilt his wardrobe for under $300, was promoted at work within 6 months, and even rekindled the past relationship. Not all reviews are glowing. Skeptics question whether AI can truly capture individuality, but Marino insists the tool's mission is modest. Help men be one step better than they were yesterday. No, that is bad. Individuality, you totally missed that. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. Marino is hoping to address these concerns before the app launches this fall. Insisting the tool's mission is modest, insisting that the tool's mission is bold yet modest. Help men be one step better than they were yesterday. New path forward. If dressing well leads to being taken more seriously, and being taken seriously unlocks career and relationship opportunities, then perhaps this is the first step towards reclaiming a modern version of the American dream. Guys like Steve Jobs or Dwayne Johnson built empires in part by crafting their image, Marino notes. Your personal brand starts with how you look in the mirror. If you take yourself seriously, others will too. The app is set to launch this fall with beta access available at stylesphere.com. For now, the American dream may feel more elusive than ever, but as history shows, reinvention is at the heart of the American story. With new tools, today's men may yet find a way to build the lives they've been told are no longer possible. That's a pretty good article. All right, let me just read through, because it's not quite as long as I'd imagine. Let's see what they left out. The problems were pretty good there. Tailors are doing that. Yep. So after we mentioned AI, I guess that's about the same length, right? We kind of already touched on all that. Yeah, I guess that's going to be my little think piece here. Cool, I'm digging it. American Dream Advertorial. Now what we need to do is actually show you how we're going to take this and put it into this, right? Now we need to take this article and turn it into an advertorial. So, again, we're not the Wall Street Journal. But let's say hypothetically we got a paid spot, just like we saw yesterday. With people doing paid pieces in the Times. Let's say that we got a real thing in the Wall Street Journal. That would be awesome. Okay, so much of this is going away. So much. It's gonna be a totally different kind of a page, right? Ooh, all right. All right, so let's go get into it. We need to take this article, which you can't see, but there we go. And it's not going to be themed the same way that Alphas is. You know, it's going to be a Wall Street Journal piece. And, you know, let's say, you know, hypothetically, we didn't get that, right? Let's say hypothetically we didn't get that. Well, we could look at Wall Street Journal and just try and make something that felt pretty similar. But here we go. It's actually pretty good, right? Sorry, you don't see what I'm looking at in screenshotting. So a lot of what I'm seeing here, just a pretty simple top. Then we've got, you know, our headline, our sub-headline, we can see who wrote it, a big picture, and then we just kind of go into what is large text. It's not very far wide, which is good. It's easy to read. We have lots of these hyperlink things that we can click, that we can use to make points and kind of do call to action type things. We're going to drop in stats. We have advertisements, so all these things on the side can be you know, things that we're trying to connect to and make points, or things that we can use to bolster our point and come through. Again, we have like these little ads and call to actions and everything, and we can use that to our advantage. So let's get into it, right? Let's go ahead and put everything into our Figma file really fast. And before we do that, we're going to want to pull all of our stuff down here. Okay, so we're going to want 2 versions of that. All right, give me the columns so that I can size this appropriately. So we're obviously going to want something that has a more official font. It's probably not Times, because that would be crazy, but It doesn't look bad. I think I'm going to use times. And then so we have a serif and then a sans serif. You see, serif and then sans serif. I'm going to need all right, and the one other thing I'm going to need here is the topics is going to say technology business. So we're just going to hyperify it there. Give me something a little bit bigger. Give me bold. And then they use some sort of blue on that. All right, let's bring it over, huh? There we go. By staff reporter. Got to give me that little person circle there. Boom. Boom. There we go. That's probably about right? By Jennifer Williams, follow. I need a date. August 18th, 2025. Make that a little bit larger. Okay. Looking pretty good. Okay, now I need some sort of a picture here. I don't know what I've selected. I think I can probably get rid of that. I want to find some sort of a picture of something that makes sense there, right? All right, and let's go ahead and just make sure that we're thinking about the different areas of this page. Okay, nothing's gonna look like that. Again, like all of that. Literally, I'm not gonna use any of that. So the important part is that now we're just going to go into all of that. So that should be my main like body style, but that should be more semi-bold and should extend it there. Now it's time to dump, huh? Okay, remember we want to go lines of 3 if we can. Okay, and we'll want to balance that with some headlines here. Is 24 too big? Nah. But a semi-bold. Let's see, do they even have those on here? It's just one long article. I'm just trying to figure out if they use their time style font for their things. I'm going to do it. It helps separate it a little bit more. Okay, these are long, so we're going to have to separate them out a lot. All right, now I'm basically just dropping it in. So give me just a second. Okay, we are getting there. Find a little bit here. Then perhaps I'm going to say this may be a first step. I'm trying to get dream to go up so I can only have 3 lines there. These two being taken more seriously. And that unlocks career and relationship opportunities, then this may be a first step towards reclaiming a modern version of the American dream. Guys like Steve Jobs or Dwayne Johnson built empires in part by crafting their image. Marino notes, your personal brand starts with how you look in the mirror. If you take yourself seriously, others will too. The app is set to launch this fall with beta access available at stylesphere.com. For now, the American dream may feel more elusive than ever. But as history shows, reinvention is at the heart of the American story, and with new tools, today's men may yet find a way to build lives they've been told are no longer possible. Pretty good. It's a nice long article. Now, we need to think about the design component of this because it's boring. And so we need to look at what all else we're going to get put in here. All right, so let's pay more attention to this page because, again, our goal is to make this feel like an article. So we want to make sure that we have this kind of ad sort of thing down here. We might have this advertisement here that we can leverage. It can be put on the side. We have this little adjusted section here that we're able to kind of mimic. That's going to be a thing. More advertisements, and then that sidebar thing is cool. But I think. All right, so let's see what we can do with that. Let's go back to Figma. Open things up here, and we're just gonna start dropping stuff in, huh? Ready? That's everything I just mentioned. Drop it in here. Cool. So we've got several different things that we are possibly including here. I'm going to put that sort of thing at the very bottom. Going to have an ad there. Going to have an ad just like vaguely, I don't know, somewhere. Where's that? Oh, that was just showing my formatting options, which we will want to do. I thought I had my little pop-outy thing. Didn't I take that? Yeah, where did that go? Okay, I'm going to need to include that somewhere in here. I think I want to do that by style sphere. It's like, hey, like that's the thing. Just add a couple of advertisements in there. Yeah. There we go. That'll look good. So then the question is, what images do we put in here, right? Want to hit that with that. And I'm just going to briefly put that on top there. We're going to have titles, but that needs to be like way smaller. Let's try 20 maybe. Yep, that's good. And hit that. But we're going to make that like 12 maybe. Nah, you can't make it too small because legally you're going to get in trouble, but never go twice. More than twice your font size. I think that's a pretty fair one. But let's go 1.5 times. So we're going to go 21 on that. That's much better density. So what points do we want to make here on the side? We're going to talk about AI, because it hasn't been mentioned yet. It's going to be like AI tool promises to revolutionize AI tool promises to revolutionize the fashion industry. New technology promises less and less people are taking fashion seriously, calling it superficial and unimportant, while others claim it is an important lost art. Silicon Valley tech entrepreneurs are trying to change the game. Okay, right? So I'm not going to make a bunch of those. I think you see what we're going for. And the idea is that we're going to have a couple of these stories here that we can kind of go after and make some good, it's going to be relevant to what we're doing here. So I'm going to put 3 stories up there. I feel like that's a good amount of stories. And then we're going to have an advertisement underneath. And that'll be a little bit more square like that, but then we'll pull it down. And the reason why it's square is just because it's square. Like that is the size of a typical display ad. So we'll just shrink that bad boy down. There we go. All right. I'm not going to make the advertisement. We'll talk about how to make good ads in a later thing. Typically that's not display ads. We're talking about written stuff, but maybe I'll do like a whole breakdown on advertorials. This is really one of the less relevant pages. I'd say sales pages are the most important one. E-commerce are the most important one. Quiz funnels are having a bit of a resurgence. So I'm blasting through this because I want you to have the skill. Sometimes everything old is new again, and these things will come back around. They'll be tried in a new way. Suddenly they're super effective. This isn't always the most important thing. One, because people don't like to read. But I want to give you the skills. I want you to kind of understand how this works in order for you to do something similar yourself, should you decide to do so. So, just going to drop that in there. Bing. And somehow I've selected that whole thing. Those are a bunch of different things. I don't know how that happened. Okay, we're gonna have that. We'll pop out there. Give me that in a stroke, and I want that 4. I think I had the other one, but get rid of the no, I want the fill. I just want it to be completely white. The reason why I'm doing that is I'm trying to create those 2 top lines and also make this line disappear. See how it disappears there for a second. Okay, so now I need to have a different advertisement that goes on top of all that. Transform your style. Let me call this become a beta tester, save thousands. Okay. A new app called Sales. A new app is helping men save thousands on their wardrobes without hundreds of hours of shopping. Click to become a beta tester. I could probably do better with that copy, but again, honestly, half the time these ads are just really not that good. And our goal here is to blend in. Our primary goal is to make it as long as possible before we make the serious pitch at the end saying, hey, yes, you should buy from us. So this is going to be a little bit more of a traditional 16:9 kind of an image. Okay, there we go. We have now an advertisement in the middle. We can get rid of that thing. Right, we're gonna need a little pop. I'm not gonna do the newsletter sign up. Yeah, I can. Check this out. We're gonna have two different types of call to action here. Hey, look, yet another use for our columns. All right, so we're just gonna throw subscribe for money saving fashion tips. All right, so now we have a little squeeze page in the middle of our other thing. Put that right there. That needs to be a little bit smaller. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit more aggressive there with our font for money saving fashion tips. So we have that little pop out there. AI. We're going to pick it back up on its own. Now I'm going to pick it back up with a quote. That'll make more sense just while reading it, right? And that helped me break it into a shorter little bit there, which is cool. Cool. I'm digging it, man. This is coming out pretty well. All right, I'm gonna put together another. I did that. Boom, bam. Let's go up. Let's get another advertisement, and we'll just throw it down here somewhere. We're gonna get a little bit pushier here at the end, because it's time to take action. You know. Then we're gonna get to a what to read next. Not sure when I stopped recording. There we go. I have that thing on top that I recommended, right? You know, I'm just gonna make a normal call to action. Want to a beta tester. Aaron, as a thank you, Aaron is making Style Sphere available at 80% off of its future price for its beta testers. With a 30-day money-back guarantee. There are no risks, and you could win a $1,000, probably $2,000. How much did I promise them? A $2,000 shopping spree. A $2,000 shopping spree in Chicago with Aaron. All right. Just gonna steal an image here. It's got to be yay wide, more rectangular. how does this break up on their page? You got to go down to here, and we probably break that column. In fact, they don't even have that column. They just have a line. Cool. So I'm going to break the column a little early, and I think that color is like I'm just going to connect it. Why the heck not? I think it's D9, D9, D9. Yep. And 4-point thickness. And then we'll have some sort of a picture that makes sense. Cool. So that's more or less going to be our advertorial. I think you see what we're getting at there, and how we told it, what we included, and why we included it. Like I said, this is not the world's most popular format now. I'd say largely less having to do with it being perceived as kind of sketchy or anything like that, because people do paid stuff all the time. But one, people don't read, and because of that, two, it's really only seen more of a brand thing. The brands I see who have the money to do this, they put it on something like New York Times or Wall Street Journal or whatever. It's a puff piece. They don't make it really feel like a real reporting piece, and you get to the end of it and you're like, what am I just supposed to feel good about this brand? Which is why we struggled to find a good solid one. But when you have something that actually feels like a pitch, and then it makes a good offer at the end, you're like, oh man, that actually did something. So will you use this? I don't know. Possibly not. Maybe not. But I do recommend having it in your back pocket. I do recommend practicing it, because everything that is old becomes new again. You don't know when this is going to become the next relevant thing that you're going to have to master in order to get sales. What will happen often is like TikTok will come out, right? And suddenly the rules that applied on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube suddenly don't apply on TikTok, and people are going after it, and it's a totally different thing. I could have gone through and bolded and italicized things, but again, I think you've sat with me long enough, you understand what to bold and italicize and add colors to. So anyways, the point being, I want you to have this mastered well enough so that when a new platform comes up and you go, actually, I can tweak this old strategy to make it work in this new way, then you're in the right mode, right? All right, very cool. We learned a lot of different ways you can use the same information, the same tools, the same structure to tell a lot of different stories in a lot of different ways and get people on board. So in a couple of days, and we kind of touched on it today, we're going to learn how to write non-DR for DR. When you're writing these things that are supposed to be sales pages and maybe a lot less pushy. I think you saw a lot of what I did was I took away the stories, but we'll talk about that in a couple of days. And tomorrow, we're getting out of landing page world, right? We are going to be moving completely into VSL and webinar mode. So we're focusing on video. For the people who don't want to read, we're going to talk about how to put it into a video. And this can be super powerful because you still want to move people towards the sale. In fact, in many ways, it has a lot of things in common with the 12-gauge landing page, with all the sales letters and sales pages we put together today. Sometimes it can literally be the same script, and sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you're not having to deal with blocking in the same way on a page, and you just put it all into a video. Sometimes you're able to create more tension and tell more stories because you are able to, like in the middle of your writing, add in a testimonial from someone, they're talking, and now it works in a way that it wouldn't have worked in the middle of your writing. So there's a lot of good things you can do there. And realistically, one of the cool things about this too is your video goes up on top of the page. We talked about that when we designed, there we go, our VSL page. Because the video goes up here and 80% of your stuff comes from up here, suddenly you're able to put a lot of stuff in here and kind of get people involved. And the video, because it can be edited to be so engaging, it's way easier to keep people involved than when they're scrolling through. So we're going to talk about VSLs, we're going to talk about webinars. Basically, the only difference is what people are expecting to get out of them and how long they are. But we're going to be talking about those over the next couple of classes. And before I send you off today, I want to talk about your homework. So take what you did the other day, your sales page, just like I did today. If you want to do that, I suggest going with what they did. So I'm going to change the assignment. You can reach out to a real life company. I highly recommend doing this. I talked about this at the beginning. If you didn't do this yesterday, you could write a new sales page for them and make all these different versions and go and pitch them. But I highly recommend doing this. Find someone with a real thing, like I just did for Aaron. Let's say you wanted to work for Aaron. It just kind of came up naturally as I was doing the fashion thing. But let's say I wanted to pitch Aaron. I would do almost exactly this. I would make all this stuff. I might even add him in the section below, like, hey, Aaron, let me make you some awesome sales pages, right? You could do that. You could call them up and say, hey, I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you and I will write for you. You could do that. You could make stuff like that. So if you didn't do that yesterday and you are, you're getting towards the end here and you're like, you know what? I think I've got this. I think I'm going to become a professional copywriter. I'm doing well, and start reaching out to people and actually do some real work. So I would suggest going back to yesterday and making a new sales page if you haven't been doing that already. Otherwise, you're welcome if you're just like kind of trying to get practice for your current, maybe you're already working in the field, and you just want to get some more practice, then go ahead and rework your sales letter from yesterday. It'll just be good practice, just like I did today. So I will say, if you are a somewhat experienced copywriter, don't feel the need, like I did with the Advertorial, don't feel the need to write all the way through that. This would be an appropriate time to use some AI. Make sure you understand the outline of it, but you know how to write, it's fine. But if you're a new copywriter, I still highly suggest that you take the time to go through this and do it all completely by yourself. But otherwise, thank you very much. Join us tomorrow when we talk about VSLs and webinars, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, y'all.